What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to today's first edition of All Elite Review, because I'm recording this at the moment at 6:35 p.m. on Saturday as we get ready for All Out, which is going to be coming on here in a little bit. So there are some things that I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to save that for the All Out review because I got a lot to talk about. So, and I'm also going to save my personal rankings for after All Out as well. So let's go ahead and just get right into this Wednesday edition of Dynamite on September the 2nd, 2020. Excalibur finally returns to commentary after a little over a month, so he's finally back, thank God. The first match was Proud and Powerful against the Best Friends, and the Best Friends attack Proud and Powerful from behind before the match even begins, which, you know, that makes sense because these two have just been going at each other. Trent dives off the stage onto Proud and Powerful at one point, which was pretty cool. Both teams fought at each other on the outside for like 5 minutes. Chuck Taylor set up like a tower of stairs on the outside but got thrown into it. There was some hard-hitting offense by both teams. The finish came when Santana hit Trent with like a extendable baton, and then they hit their street sweeper for the 3 count and the victory. I gave this match 3.5 stars out of 5. And from the looks of it, both of these teams are going to be in the Casino Battle Royal at All Out. And then we have a backstage segment where MJF basically was bullying Mark Sterling, who had locked himself in his room, but Wardlow kicked the door open. And MJF basically said, "Do you want to face Jon Moxley or a wood chipper?" So there's that. This next match was an 8-man tag to determine who will face each other at All Out, kind of like a bigger payday kind of thing. So SCU and Private Party against the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. And one thing that I noticed was the Young Bucks had a drastically different demeanor, not the usual flair that they usually come out with. They meant serious business on this night. There was some good back and forth between all 4 teams. At one point, there was a fan on the outside that had a Hangman Page sign, and Matt Jackson saw that, ripped the sign out of the dude's hands, although I think it was a plant, obviously. Rips it up, takes the beer that was in his hands and pours it over his head. So that was pretty funny. Kazarian starts cleaning house and Daniels hits his Arabian moonsault, which looked really good. Jungle Boy hits a burning hammer on Isaiah Cassidy. At first it looked like an Olympical slam, but it looked more like a burning hammer or an inverted Death Valley driver. But Jungle Boy gets the hot tag to Luchasaurus, who starts cleaning house. We get stereo risky business from both the Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. Then we have a triple team by SCU and Private Party on Jungle Boy. Only gets a 2 count though. Daniels hits the BME and Quinn hits a shooting star press on Jungle Boy. Only gets a 2 count, but the finish came when Luchasaurus hits a tail whip on Frankie Kazarian, and the Young Bucks hit their BTE trigger on Quinn for the 3 count and the victory. So the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express will be facing each other at All Out. Nothing really to this one other than, you know, it's just these two looking for a bigger payday. I gave this match 3.5 stars out of 5. It was a good 8-man tag. Then we get a backstage segment where Hager basically goes back to where Orange Cassidy is, basically sits down next to him and is like, you better be at ringside for Jericho's match against Joey Janela. And then we have another segment where Tully Blanchard is pumping up FTR backstage for their tag team title match. Then Tony Schiavone interviews Kenny Omega and basically said that Hangman Adam Page, this is a mistake that he's going to have to live with, but they're going to be focused on defending the tag team championship at All Out. So FTR come out with a container of beverages. They hand him a chocolate milk, and Omega is basically like, you know what, enough with this tomfoolery. I'm paraphrasing. If we're gonna fight it out, let's fight it out. And then Hangman Page comes out, eyes all red and shit. I'm pretty sure that was makeup. but it looked like he hadn't slept in days. And then FTR basically starts talking shit to Adam Page, basically saying, yeah, that, for the most part, they basically manipulated him, and Page was not very happy about that. FTR takes the title belts, and Hangman asks for them back, but FTR basically holds them out and just drops them on the ground. Page picks both his and Omega's titles up, reaches behind him to hand Omega his title, but as it turned out, Omega was outside the ring and not backing Hangman Adam Page up. So I honestly think we're going to see the implosion of Omega and Page at All Out. Of course, this is, like I said, this review for Dynamite this past Wednesday is going to be coming out after All Out is aired, but I'm actually recording this episode before All Out. It's not going to go up until tomorrow because that's its scheduled, release date. Because I upload all Elite Review episodes now on Sundays. Jericho's interviewed by Alex Marvez and talks about everything he's going to do to Orange Cassidy in the Mimosa Mayhem match. There are a lot of matches in All Out. That's probably going to be potential to be match of the night candidates. So we get match number 3, which was Bad Boy Joey Janela against Chris Jericho. This was basically an extended squash. Orange, of course, comes out to watch Jericho, as Jericho asked him to do. Jericho is basically dominating the match. Janela tried to come in with a dive, but Jericho countered it into a perfectly timed code breaker. He put in the walls of Jericho for the 3 count and the victory. Nothing really to this one, but it was a nice extended squash. I'll give it 2.5 stars out of 5. And then Jericho continues to attack Janela, who's now bleeding after being smashed into an exposed turnbuckle. Obviously he bladed because you could tell that Janela's getting the blade out. But Jericho wipes Janela's blood all over the Orange Cassidy shirt that he was wearing. Then he took it off, threw it at Orange, who then rushed into the ring to attack Jericho. And then Jake Hager went into the ring to attack Orange as well. And then Sonny Kiss came out, hit Jericho with an elbow. Then Hager hits Sonny Kiss with like a power slam. Orange pushes him out of the ring. Tries to go for his Superman punch on Jericho, but Hager pulls him out of the ring. And Orange had a backpack with him, and he pulled out a little bit of the bubbly and gave the thumbs down as he was pouring it out. So, yeah, we're going to see the rubber match between these two at All Out. So then we have Sammy Guevara coming out with the cue cards as well. And you have Matt Hardy, who is watching on a tower on top of the building overlooking the arena. And Guevara eventually notices him, and Hardy also has some of his own cue cards. Those two are going to be in a Broken Rules match, which is actually a last man standing match. So that's going to be brutal. And if Hardy loses, he's going to be gone from All Elite Wrestling. So we'll have to see how that goes. Then Team Taz comes out with Taz talking about, of course, the Casino Battle Royal and how one of these guys was going to win it. Then Jake Roberts and Lance Archer comes out, and Jake Roberts is like, tick for tack, Taz. You interrupted us last week, so now we're going to interrupt you. And then Eddie Kingston comes out with his group, and of course, you got 3 of the best talkers in the business: Taz, Jake Roberts, and Eddie Kingston coming out there. And then all hell starts breaking loose. We basically get a preview of the Battle Royal. I think this went on just a little bit too long. I mean, they went right through the commercial break and into the next segment, and they were still fighting, and it felt kind of drawn out and a little bit lazy. Like, you don't need to, showcase, the build up for the Battle Royal that freaking long. You know what I mean? But we get a recap of Dark Order against the Natural Nightmares, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona. Which is going to take place at All Out. I don't agree with this 8-man tag being on the All Out card. This is really a match that should have taken place on an episode of Dynamite. It really should have been one of these guys against Brody Lee for the TNT Championship, but instead we're getting this 8-man tag on All Out, and I don't agree with that at all. This is probably going to be the weakest match on the card. In all likelihood. I'm not talking about the buy-in matches, obviously. because the buy-in's kind of separate from the main card itself. But yeah, in terms of the main card, I think this is going to be the weakest match out of all 9 that are on the main card. But then we get the next match, and this was one hell of a women's match. And of course, we see the debut of both Serena Deeb and the NWA World Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. And I'm just going to say this right now. AEW, there's 4 women that they need to sign to long-term contracts. Because as far as I know, they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it with Diamante yet, which is kind of dumb. They haven't done it with, as far as I know, they haven't done it with Ivelisse yet, although they had her get a win on last night's Dark. Yes, there was another episode of Dark. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not putting out my personal rankings till after All Out, because there's so much. But they also, I think, need to sign Serena Deeb, and I think they need to somehow get Thunder Rosa on board as well, because Thunder Rosa is crazy good, and she showed it in this match. Serena Deeb's also pretty good too. She broke out some good moves too, like a straight jacket neck breaker and a lung blower, which looked really good. Rosa also hit a neck breaker of her own, except hers with a hangman variant. Had some hard-hitting drop kicks. I tell you what, Thunder Rosa, some of the best drop kicks in the business right now. But Deeb tries to go for, okay, that was weird. Serena Deeb tries to go for like a double chicken wing, looked like a double chicken wing pile driver of some sort. Couldn't really tell what she was going for there. But Rosa countered out into a very nice Death Valley driver. That was beautiful for a 2 count. And then picks her up, and then basically muscles Serena Deeb up and hits her finisher, which is called the Thunder Driver, which is basically a sit-out variant of the Emerald Frozen. And it looked pretty fucking devastating. And she got the 3 count and the victory. I gave this match 3.25 stars out of 5. And then we get Moxley talking about MJF against MJF in the championship match, which is coming up here in a little bit. And then Tony Schiavone interviews Big Swole about her match against Britt Baker, and she decides that it's going to be a tooth and nail match. Now, it's going to be one of them cinematic matches, and it's going to actually be taking place, I guess, at Britt Baker's office, her dentist office, and it's going to be much like a Falls Count Anywhere match. It's no disqualifications. So this is basically a hardcore style match in a dentist's office. So that's going to be interesting. And initially, another criticism I had was this was actually going to be on the buy-in, which is like, why are you putting, the longest running story in the women's division on the buy-in? Especially with the return of Britt Baker to action. Like, that makes no fucking sense. But I guess Tony Khan realized that and decided to actually put this on the main card. And they've added a couple other matches to the buy-in. A tag match with Private Party against the Beaver Boys. And then a singles match with Joey Janela going up against Serpentico. Those are the matches that are going to be in the buy-in. But then we get the quote-unquote main event, which was just, a squash match. Jon Moxley against the lawyer, Mark Sterling, in a tune-up match. Basically, Sterling got smacked around. Moxley was just playing with him, but did hit the paradigm shift for the 3 count and the victory. But Wardlow then attacks afterwards, hits 2 F10s, and then MJF comes down, in the roller and shit. But it was obvious he was just playing possum because he took the neck brace off and threw the walker away. I mean, he pretty much goaded, Jon Moxley into having his paradigm shift banned from their match tonight on All Out. So, again, as I'm recording this. But he attacks Moxley, busts him open, and basically leaves him laying in the ring. So, despite this, I still think that MJF is probably going to be walking out as the world champion, because they're going to want to keep him undefeated, I think, because, I mean, that's what they're building towards. I mean, this guy is the biggest heel they have right now, and to have him win the world championship, remain undefeated, and have him go on this like long championship reign, where it seemed like he can't be beaten, and have him like, have not have him really have like a cowardly type championship defenses, have like strong, matches and shit like that. Because then when a babyface, a big-time babyface, comes along and beats them for the world title, it means more. You know, and I'm pretty sure they would want that for a full crowd because, oh my God, the eruption that would come if once a big-time babyface comes along and beats MJF for the world title. That would be something else. But yeah, this is basically a squash match between Moxley and Sterling. I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5. Typical, you know, squash match. You know, was this the best go-home show ever? No. But was it as bad as some people are labeling it out to be? No. I mean, some people are thinking, oh, this was one of the weakest Dynamites ever. And I'm just like, dude, I can name a couple other Dynamite episodes that were worse than this. Trust me. You know, I hate this fucking broad generalization that, you know, the entire show is bad because of a few bad segments. Like, that's fucking stupid. And I'm going to be calling out a certain reviewer on the All Out review. And that's actually going to be the first thing I'm going to be doing on the All Out review. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So, my final rating for the show, like I said, it wasn't the best go-home show, but it wasn't terrible either. So, my final rating for this edition of Dynamite, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. You know, standard score. But that's going to do it for this edition of All Elite Review. Like I said, I'm going to hold off on my personalized rankings until after All Out because there's just been so much. You know, 2 episodes of Dark, an episode of Dynamite, and All Out. You know, I'm going to have to figure all that shit up. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty busy weekend. But thank you very much for watching. 9 minutes removed from the buy-in, so I better get ready to rock and roll. And get ready to do the All Out review. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you a little bit later on here today for the All Out review. Till then, this is the PackerMan signing out. See you later. You better like and subscribe or face the consequences. You have been warned.